One way of supporting this spirit of enterprise is to make sure that viable firms can survive this period of cyclical weakness. Otherwise, we lose precious capabilities that are difficult to rebuild later. And our people's livelihoods could also be at stake. This is why this year's budget is carefully calibrated to address cyclical concerns without impeding restructuring. And members, such as Mr. Ong Teng Koon, have expressed support for this support package. Now, costs remain a concern for many SMEs. Some members, such as Engineer Dr. Lee Bee Hua, spoke about rental costs. In fact, rental costs have declined over 2015. Retail, office, and industrial rents fell by 4.1%, 6.5%, and 2.1% respectively. But I appreciate that the experience can be different for different firms in different locations. Now, that is why we are careful to shape the overall macroeconomic conditions to be supportive of growth, to make sure that we do not price ourselves out of the global markets. So we released more space, implemented anti-speculative measures, and calibrated our exchange rates carefully. And these are medium-term measures, and we are seeing results. We are seeing results in terms of supporting firms, even in the cost area. Now, others, such as Dr. Lily Neo, spoke about manpower costs. Wages have been rising, which is good for our workers. Our workers do look forward to rising wages, but it puts pressure on businesses, especially those with lower margins. We must understand where these cost pressures come from. They are fundamentally based on demand and supply. Our supply of land and labor is limited, but the demand for our resources is growing, which in fact indicates that our economy is still growing. So prices are bid up. So while we should be careful not to price ourselves out of the global markets, we must accept that we cannot be a low-cost location. Even China, which used to be a cheap place with its vast land and population, 1.3 billion people, is experiencing rising business costs. Their businesses are automating, their businesses are moving out from coastal region to inland, as well as to cheaper locations outside China. So we cannot permanently subsidize costs. All firms, large or small, in whatever sector, must compete on productivity and innovation. And this is the way to reinforce the spirit of enterprise and to build vitality in our firms for the long haul. This is how we will compete. Enterprising firms understand this and build their business models with these hard constraints in mind. I fully understand that restructuring is painful, but it is necessary, so that our finite resources will not be trapped in zombie businesses, as Mr. Ong Teng Koon warned, and our workers, in particular our workers, will not be trapped in firms, in sectors with poor prospects. So our concern about restructuring is ultimately a concern for our workers, our people.